And it's another episode of the Gary and Mark Show, and I'm Gary.
And I am Mark.
And we're coming to you not live.
Not live, but we are live.
We're alive.
At
Saluda Outfitters.
home of what, Gary?
The Big Green River Eddie's Tap Room.
Close.
Grill.
Any of you guys know what it really
Green
is called?
River Eddie.
Green River Eddie's Tap Room.
And we've just sampled from their food truck and had delightful burgers and fries and barbecue.
Yeah, and hot dog.
And okay. And,
Yeah,
and
good.
Today is a super big deal because of our guests.
We have some amazing guests today.
Yes, we do.
Why don't you introduce them, Gary?
Well, these two, let's just say all four of us all worked together at summer camp 50 years ago.
Or more, because we were all there 50 years.
But I mean, all of us
right.
together
That's
for
right.
the first time 50 years ago.
That's right.
My, how time flies.
That's right. And I don't think I've seen Joe probably since, it's been 40-something years.
73, I don't think.
73?
Yeah, that's my last year.
Same here.
Yeah.
So,
No, you haven't seen him
Tucker,
since
too.
73?
No.
yeah. So that just,
73.
who we have here, Joe Clark
Joe Clark.
and Charlie Tucker,
Charlie Tucker, yeah.
two of this.
All right.
Hey, keep
Settle
it down,
down,
crowd.
yeah.
Just come on.
All right.
All right, y'all go back and drink your beer.
Yeah.
These two were stalwarts of the Mondamin riding program.
And I had forgotten that. I
Yeah.
knew they taught riding. For some reason, I thought you did tennis
Yeah.
at one time. But
I
You
did.
did both.
you did, see? Multi-talented.
Yeah.
Unlike me, who had no talent.
And then,
But I got the job. So.
of course, Joe was there the first year I came. It was his second year. But Charlie, let's point out, he was off in Vietnam first couple of years.
That's true.
And he came back, and we're glad he did.
Me too.
That's right.
Yep.
So we should salute his good service to our country.
Amen.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. That was,
Thank you. It took a lot of beer to get through that year.
Well,
taking us a lot of beer to get through today, too.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
probably not
yeah.
as much as you had. What kind of beer did you drink back in Vietnam days?
Hot.
well, there you
I
go.
mean, was there a brand?
Hot with sand in it. Yeah.
Oh, well.
Was it like
That's what we
Budweiser or something? What kind of beer? Was it
well,
wasn't Vietnamese beer, was it?
Well, we could get any American brand till all the breweries went on strike, and then we could only get Falstaff and Carling Black Label. And believe me, Falstaff is the worst thing I ever tried to drink in my life.
That's what Dizzy Dean would say. Let's go down and have us a Falstaff.
Lying like a dog. He was
Well,
lying
yeah,
like a
because
dog.
by that time, I didn't learn till later. He already joined AA. He wasn't. He said if he quit drinking a whole lot earlier, he would have pitched many more years and done a little better.
Wow.
So did we say who these people were?
Well, we said it's Joe Clark, who is retired from, well, we'll call it Knoxville, Tennessee, a graduate of University of Tennessee, and legal profession for. Do you work for the Attorney General's office?
I did for 5 years. That's correct.
For 5 years.
State Attorney General.
And more importantly, today he is what, Gary?
Well, he's the legal counsel for the Gary and Mark Podcasting University.
He has kept us out of trouble.
He's kept us out of trouble so far.
We tried to have a GoFundMe page or something or another, and you kind of put the poobah on that. I
No,
think.
that's good because I have a bill to give to you today. So
Okay.
be ready.
Well, this is going downhill fast.
Yeah, that's right. So, yeah. Okay.
And Charlie Tucker here,
Charlie
who lives
Tucker.
in Hendersonville,
Amen.
not far from me.
That's right.
And Charlie has had a multifaceted career.
He has.
Yes, he
And
has.
he's actually still working,
He is.
except for today.
Well, he can talk about that. Talk about you used to be one of the big dogs bringing in the music to Flat Rock Music Festival,
Yeah.
and then
Well, we had a little festival in Flat Rock. The owner of Camp Tonawanda, Billy Haynes, and I came up with the bright idea of having a music festival, multi-day music festival twice a year. So that took most of my time for several years.
Did he pay you?
Oh, yeah, he paid me.
Okay,
Paid
good.
me.
and you had some. I remember you had Guy Clark and his son.
And Guy
among
Clark,
others.
that was the first festival. He was the headliner.
Yeah.
And we had some really great talent. The problem was that
Crappy
Henderson-
weather. You had some
crappy weather, and Hendersonville wasn't quite ready for that type of festival because we
They wanted Guy
concentrated-
Lombardo
yeah,
and
they wanted Guy Lombardo,
that kind of stuff.
Elvis Presley, and that kind of thing. So
Dead people.
yeah,
They don't perform.
well,
Yeah. Well, you were ahead of your time because
that's
what
been
is
my
it?
problem my whole life. I've always been ahead of my time.
Well, better than being behind. I
the
guess.
point of the spear. There he is.
There you go. And he's also an honors graduate of the Gary and Mark podcast.
Yeah, we'd like
University.
to point that out.
Yeah, we
And-
should.
Tough road to hoe.
And he doesn't know any money. You got your graduate, you got
That's
your
right.
degree, and no bills.
GaryandMark.com, I think, is the website.
There it is.
Something like that.
It's a wonderful feeling, isn't it, Charlie?
It is. It is.
So, Charlie's still working.
Yes, I am.
I'm one of your customers.
Yes, you are, Mark, a loyal customer.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Well, we have a thorny question. Bring up here, Joe. Go ahead.
I went out to look for a mattress, I don't know, 2-3 years ago, and I was shocked. Why is it mattresses cost so much now?
Have you bought a car lately?
I bought a car lately. It wasn't like
what about the
sticker
price
shock.
increase on them?
I understand
Well,
the price.
but
increase.
what you're using the mattress for is what you used to use the car for. I would point out. Yeah. Well.
Okay.
Anyway,
Yeah.
But
Well, the mattress industry is most of their technology comes from NASA. So that technology is rather expensive in the early years of its advent, and so it reflects in the price.
so the moon landing, because of the moon landing, I should think about that when I get on my mattress.
You should.
Okay.
And you know what? And when you go back to Tobys this week, you go back this week?
Yeah.
Tobys Mattress.
No, I'm through this week.
All right, next week, Tobys Mattress, Hendersonville, North Carolina, the place to get your mattress. Largest mom and pop dealer in the area. You could mention they could become a sponsor of the Gary and Mark Show podcast.
We are talking about that
Okay.
as we speak.
Where you get your second mattress free? No. That wouldn't
No, we're just going to give them all away. Just open the doors and let them go.
go. There you go.
You probably have some that haven't sold in 30 years sitting back there, don't you?
Not really.
Not really. I know. When I was looking for one, they were short on stock. You probably still
just
are.
like everybody.
Everybody is.
Everybody
I
is.
know.
Yeah. I don't want to go there because it's a political thing, and I'm
There you go.
talk about it.
No, yeah, we avoid politics.
That's right.
We avoid what else? Sex, more or less.
More or
Well,
And,
we don't avoid beer, though.
We
no,
don't.
we don't
beer.
avoid beer.
We don't avoid beer. And any controversy.
So we
What's that leave?
No, we really don't avoid sex, but hell, we're all over 70. So what do you think?
That's
Well,
right.
We do the best we can.
We do.
Yeah. There we go.
Down the toilet.
There you go. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. You can come back out now, Gary. Oh, they can see us. So.
Okay.
Because remember, some people can see us on YouTube. That's right. YouTube or audio.
Yeah.
But, so we all worked at Camp Mondamin back in, you guys before 1971, but that was my first year.
Well, actually, your first year, 71, was Charlie's first year back from Vietnam.
But he had worked there, right?
He had
Before?
worked there
Okay.
before.
So you and I got to know you the same time you got to
Right.
know me.
Uh-huh.
And that was the
Makes
summer of
sense.
the 50th anniversary
That's right.
of camp.
Oh, those memories.
Oh, yes.
Ah.
And we had extra jobs like going to get props
Oh, that was a hoot.
for the pageant.
So
Took a couple of days to get over that one.
Yeah.
were you King Bora Bora that summer, or was it Ray Thompson?
71. I'm not sure. I was 1 year. One of the years when Dr. Haller couldn't be there.
So explain what that Bora Bora thing's all about, whatever that festival is. What's it?
I should let someone
Luau.
else explain. A luau.
There we
It's
go.
a Hawaiian kind of thing.
And they had this king that
and
shows
a
up.
pageant, and you got a king.
there were two kings.
Here we go. Here you
The
go.
good king over here.
Oh.
And then there was the bad king
Ooh.
who always seemed to be me for some reason. I don't know why. So
Yeah,
was
I don't
killed-
get that.
I was killed-
Typecasting.
Yes, I was killed multiple times by Frank Jr.
Okay.
And he's good at killing kings.
Yeah.
So
But the king normally, the good king,
Wins.
because of Dr. Haller, who was
right.
bald for medical reasons.
Yeah.
Everybody following him decided they needed to be bald.
Shave
too,
their
so-
head or color. I did that one.
So did Ray
Might have been
Thompson.
that,
Yeah. I can't remember.
71. That's right.
So
I got to
okay.
be the king in 71. I remember
That's
that.
a high honor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The peak. I'm at my peak.
Well, 71.
So you probably killed me too, I guess.
I might have, and if I did, I want to take this time to tell everyone
That's
here,
all right.
I'm sorry.
Uh-huh.
It was just in the script.
And then I think after you killed the king, didn't you declare a luau?
But of course, a feast. Let us have a feast, and then that would be at the end of the. That was the end of the 3-week session.
Yeah, they didn't do that in the long session, did they?
No.
Why not? Those kids needed it more than those 3-weekers. They've been
Well,
there for 8 weeks.
if you were to listen to Delabar talk about 3-week camp versus 8-week camp, as he liked to say when the 3-weekers are leaving, he would go, everybody say goodbye to the tourists, and now the real campers are coming. So
These days, how long is their longest session? 5 weeks?
5 weeks.
5 weeks.
That's still pretty long.
Yeah.
I mean, these kids today, they are not into doing one thing for 5 weeks. Oh, they don't have to do one thing at camp, but they it's a been there, done that kind of attitude. Too many of them.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, the skill levels were so much higher with the 8-week campers. A kid could come there as a novice in the 8-week camp and at least paddle Nantahala before the summer is over if he applied himself. Whereas with 5 weeks, 3 to 5 weeks, it's really hard to develop that skill level. Number one, kids develop pretty fast when they're using their muscles, but they can't develop that fast. So that's the big reason, I think, that there's a big difference between the camps, the skill level.
Boy, go from novice to Nantahala in 8 weeks. I can't even pass the swim test in 8 weeks. I'm still working on that. Ray Thompson was still working on that after about 6 years. That was hard.
Where is Ray Thompson?
dead.
Yeah, he died.
Is he?
Yeah. So you heard it here, folks. This is what happens when 4 70-plus year olds get together and somebody brings somebody up and go, oh, no, they're gone.
There's actually several of our contemporaries are gone, too. You might know Mike Charlie Frame, you knew.
Yeah.
And Crazy Joe Williams, did you know him?
Yeah, he
Didn't know him.
came after Joe's time.
And
Yeah.
the priest, McDowell, G. McDowell.
G.
Jim
McDowell.
McDowell.
Yeah, that's
Do
right.
that
Yeah, and that was back, I'm going to say
3 years ago.
14 or 15.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
But we're all here.
That's right.
Above ground, as far as we know,
Yeah.
and grateful.
Chris Peters, remember Chris Peters? He's
Yeah.
got Parkinson's and is in the assisted living community.
Really? Where is he living now?
Outside of Baltimore
he's
somewhere.
on a caboose.
Well, you know what? Speaking of that, you probably didn't know this. Yeah, that was his dream always, was trains.
I know that.
Yeah.
And when he finished working his career at this hospital, as a blood bank, he worked hard and actually got a job with CSX Railroad.
Well,
Didn't last
actually-
too long, but he did work for them
Good.
for a brief
Actually,
period.
at camp, I remember one summer, he
We better hope he doesn't listen to this podcast. I'll make sure he's not on the mailing list when the link goes out.
he was very anxious.
Charge of smoking.
Very anxious to get out of camp early because he could catch an Amtrak train that was running for the first time. And
Right.
very visibly excited.
Oh, yeah.
I remember that.
It would get him excited for sure. Still does.
Yep.
He talk about he loved the Saluda grade right over here. He's talk about that all the time, and the old fort loops that go up from Old Fort up to.
Which is now a walking and bike path.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
The Old Fort, yeah, that's all. That's
Well,
all
you should
biking.
watch
greenway.
my recent video. I went to Old Fort on the Country Life with the Columbus Mark. Did a broadcast about the Andrews Geyser. Any of you ever been to Andrews Geyser?
No.
Never. I didn't know it existed
All right, you can
until
check
the other
out the
night.
video on. I'll link it above somewhere. Okay,
I'm going to rush out and see that now.
you should.
will.
Worth go and take a look. Andrews Geyser, the most famous geyser in North Carolina.
Where is it exactly?
Old Fort off of I-40? It's about 2
little
miles
east.
out of town.
A little east of Black Mountain.
Not far from here. It's very impressive.
Outside of Asheville or outside of Henderson?
Outside of Asheville, but Marion, if you come down I-40 going east, you come through Swannanoa, and then somewhere you get down.
Yeah, it's on your way to, before you get to Hickory. Or
Yeah, way before.
Way
It's a very impressive sight. Now, I will tell you, though, Joe, since you got a car, I would not rush out there on this trip to go see it until you see my video first.
Okay, so it's not Old Faithful, is what you're telling me.
Exactly.
Okay, got it. Got it.
Exactly. Okay.
Nothing in the East
I don't wanna
shoots
go
as nothing in the East shoots as high as it used to. It's been,
Yeah, Gary's got an app about something similar to that.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
A trickle will do.
Yeah. If you're lucky.
If you're lucky,
Or
just be grateful.
A trickle 8 times a night
Yes.
if you're unlucky.
No?
So
Yeah, I'm working on that.
yeah, that's right.
So, what we need to do is dig out some camp stories that
should.
these two guys, since rather than us talk about when the three of us lived together in Boulder.
Well, I know I missed
in
out on that.
1971-72.
I wasn't invited, but that's okay.
But you were still in school.
That's true. I was. Yeah. So you were in the school year doing that because you can't. Summer you be back at camp.
We weren't in school.
We definitely went to school, though.
We did. Yeah.
So how many of you were on the
Working
10-year
in the mountains.
bachelor's program plan? You, Charlie? You were.
How long was I? Well, I got married and I was 27.
So how many years did it take you to get through 4 years of college is what I meant.
Oh, that. I got out.
Yeah.
It went in 67 and got out in 78. 11-year program. But I was out for 8. Yeah.
11? I'm sure Joe was an overachiever and was done in 4 or 3.
No, I think the total, including law school and Boulder and all that.
Well, yeah, but I'm not counting
was
law school.
about 10, give or take.
Yeah, but law school, that's a lot of years.
3.
But think of the education we received while on our sabbaticals.
That's right. And we didn't there was no big college debt when we left Boulder.
No way.
No.
And when we were there, I mean, the three of us each had Volkswagen Beetles. Jim Hopkins had a Volkswagen bus. So 3 Beetles in a bus. Gas was 25 cents a gallon.
Wow.
Yep.
There were other things that were only like $12 or $15 an ounce, but we don't have to go there. And we're all by a certain time we're all working construction jobs, making $3 to $3.50 to $4 an hour. I was making $3. These guys were making more. I wasn't as skilled.
I thought it was $2.50 back then.
Well, and then Joe was basically our room at Gun Barrel Meadows Apartments, which was an experience living there. Each of us paying about $1 a day in rent. You could, it wasn't
Pretty cheap.
pretty cheap. And Joe was kind of like in charge of our,
I can see that.
of us. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah, he was the real estate guru.
he was. And how about, we were sort of like the Israelites wandering around. First we went to
Aspen, didn't you?
Went to Aspen.
Yeah.
I had a job as
Looking for work, you mean? Or-
yeah,
looking for work.
Well,
and then a
place to stop.
Yeah,
So Gary worked as a
Male maid
chambermaid there
for a day and a half.
A day and a half.
Think later is the same amount of time I lasted on the slaughter, working the gut wagon in the slaughterhouse years later.
Yes. And then there was the Shakey's Pizza, I think.
That was in Boulder. But remember,
Oh, that's right.
First-
I'm sorry. Yeah.
first we're looking for work, and you couldn't find a job unless you had a place to stay. And you couldn't find a place to stay unless you had a job. That was always. And then we went to Steamboat
Steamboat.
Springs, didn't we?
Yeah,
All
we
the
spent
same year?
all the same trip.
week.
On the same, We're
Before
like
you settled in Boulder,
Yeah,
you went to
yeah.
these other.
All right,
okay.
it took the Israelites 40 years. It took us 3 or 4 days.
Not bad.
To find Boulder.
So, but you're all traveling in your own VW.
Yeah, well,
We had a caravan.
We had a
caravan.
so like
And
Israelites.
then we went to, Steamboat might be a little easier to find a job. So we went to Steamboat and spent at least 45 minutes there.
Yes.
We got lunch. I remember that.
Yeah.
You guys right now should start a new search because you get a job in about an hour. Every place needs one. I think it'd be fun just to all 3 of you. I'll get my camera, walk into someplace, see if they want to hire you.
But the real secret was Gary got us, or we all got to Boulder, and we sort of set down roots, if you want to call them that there. And Gary got in contact with some woman who worked at the Colorado
Employment office.
So we never had to worry about working.
No, she'd keep us in jobs.
Gary schmoozed her. And
Well,
we were
what-
solid gold.
And all I did She helped me find this first job at Shakey's, which, but I got the job, and I called her and thanked her. And apparently,
good man. That
stuff, that went a long way.
It still goes a long way.
Yeah,
it still goes a long way.
She invited us to a Halloween party at her house.
Yeah, I think we went to a couple of parties there, and everything was great until the last one, where somehow we started talking about politics, and
oh boy,
it got divisive.
Yeah,
but
always does.
Yeah.
So who's been back to Boulder and Shakey's in all these years?
I've been back once. I couldn't find my way around town.
No, I drove through it and I couldn't find my way.
Grown that much, I guess.
It's almost like Hendersonville.
We lived when we lived there, it was outside of town. Near the head ski factory.
Yes,
remember
it
that?
was right across the road from the head ski factory, next to a golf course.
Yeah.
Yep.
We basically went to live.
That was our pet rabbit.
Had for about 2 weeks. But do you remember the couple that lived next to us who the FBI raided their apartment?
Yeah. Man, I forgot all about that.
Had dynamite and hand grenades.
What?
Around this.
I don't remember. I want to express surprise in front of. I don't remember that.
Tell them why you don't remember these things. What were you doing during 70s?
Yeah, well, I don't remember that at all.
Oh yeah. We came home one night and the FBI was walking up and down the halls. And
we called the couple Harvey Wallbanger because they had you know what happened. But anyway, they had this little dog named Flatiron. She'd run out and go Flatiron, Flatiron.
Wow.
Little terrier thing. And
boy,
but I remember all that Harvey Wallbanger stuff. Yeah, boy.
But
those are good memories.
Yeah, they weren't living there any longer. After
No.
that.
No, and then we moved. Remember, first we were in a 2-bedroom place.
Yeah.
And then we had a meeting. We'd have a meeting.
Mm-hmm.
And then Joe kind of said, hey, look, if we now there's 5 of us, we could get a 3-bedroom. And so, that.
So was that a one-season job and 1 year? School year type job.
Yeah.
Never went back.
Yeah, about 9 months, I think.
Well, I went back for 2 weeks the following fall.
Oh, you did? And why'd you call it quits after 2 weeks?
Well,
we didn't have those guys with you.
I looked at that's part of it. And another part was I looked at it and said, well, I've done this. Time to go back to school. So.
Well, we didn't say he's an Auburn graduate, right?
War Eagle.
War Eagle.
War Eagle.
There you go. So Camp Hill, Alabama is where he's from.
Yeah.
Guitar player and drummer in today.
It was fun.
It
was fun. I learned a lot from these guys, like I said, and from Tim Shell. Like, if Tim Shell was out of work, you'd come home and the place would be scrubbed clean.
What?
There'd be bread. There'd be, and we were always good with our, what I remember is us, because we'd all go, the grocery store was pretty close. And we'd each buy a dozen eggs, and you had your little magic marker. you would mark your eggs. So we were all pretty good about the good fences make good neighbors thing.
Yeah. I remember the King Supers very well because we used to
that was the name.
Because Feger used to go over there in his bathrobe and shop.
Boy, I don't remember that.
I don't remember that either, but I'm not surprised.
That's a visual. I remember buying big things of peach yogurt, and of course, I get those big boxes of frozen fish sticks.
Yes.
No, I still get those. Those are good.
Yep.
Easy to fix.
Yeah.
Remember Tim making his bread. I was telling somebody coming over that I've never seen him so mad as when his bread wouldn't rise.
If Tim's bread didn't rise.
But it was good bread.
Well,
morning.
Let's Eat Right and Keep Fit. Who wrote, whatever the lady that wrote that book, I ended up getting one and baking bread.
Oh, what you mean? Said you cooked a book or something.
No. Let's Eat Right and Keep Fit, something like that.
So who's got a camp story? That was a good camp story, but
well, there's that post-camp story.
That was a good one.
Good camp.
See, and now we all fall mute.
Well, you were talking about these funny things with Chief, but maybe you don't want to repeat those. But I don't think his son or grandson ever listens to the podcast, so
probably.
No. I I think we all have funny stories, but we all wouldn't be here if it wasn't for him.
That's
true.
right. That's correct.
True that.
That's
and
true.
We wouldn't look each other up after 50 years. If we
Yeah.
had the experiences that he made possible.
And I don't know about you guys, but it was a life-changing experience for me going to that camp.
Agreed.
Amen.
Agreed.
Amen.
And it still
Yeah.
is. You know,
Yeah.
it's still up. You know, it was a great experience. So that would be Camp Mondamin in Tuxedo, North Carolina.
This coming year, they're going to do the 100th anniversary this year since COVID.
That's right. So in
It's
22.
kind of hard.
Are you going to write the skit?
You know, I have to get Ovson get Ovson to play my dummy again. Who,
Slow dance at the end of 50 years of people.
Oh yeah, I remember that, and Calla popping out of the cake, and of course.
I missed that one.
I don't remember any of that. That was my first year with the
Yeah,
with the
you
50th, right?
came there. Yeah,
Yeah. But
and Al Moore had done a whole variation on the Hiawatha poem and on a canoe paddle, and that was nice because he and Chief had kind of had a falling out, and that was kind of a nice little reconciliation
Yeah, it was.
thing.
Yeah.
So
that camp's just what, maybe 10 minutes from here, right? 10, 15 or less?
well, by car or walking?
Car.
My car or your car? No,
I noticed you came in Joe's car. I thought you were bringing everybody down.
Well,
to
but
yours.
Joe didn't want to park on the side of the
Oh,
street, and I
okay.
understand that.
Yeah.
So we came in Joe's car. Yeah.
So I'd say, what, maybe 20 minutes up the road?
Yeah,
Well, it
Most of-
depends on how many beers you have.
that's true.
That's right.
And we didn't have that when we were at camp.
No,
'cause the
we never
contract-
did
No,
that.
never.
No,
We
we
never.
It was not allowed.
No.
Day off or day on, doesn't matter. That's right. I never had one, right?
No.
No. Okay, good. We got that off. Clear the air. There we
Yeah.
go. Okay. So if anybody's listening, yep, we kept to our contract.
This was off season.
Yeah, off season. Yeah.
We always had designated drivers.
Yes.
Wait a minute, you didn't have to because we weren't drinking. Remember, nobody was drinking.
This was off season.
Oh, off season. Yeah,
yeah.
that's right. So, anyhow, I'll talk about the horses and Chief. That was kind of funny.
Do we want to share that one?
Yeah.
Sadie and Sue.
Yeah.
Sadie and Sue.
I'm going to turn that one over to Charlie and Joe because they were eyewitnesses.
And they were also the horse people there, too.
They are.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Joe, you take it.
all right, well, I'll start out and you chime in.
Okay.
But we had just gotten these two new horses. They were two draft horses, Sadie and Sue, and Chief had gotten them that winter, I guess. They were new that summer. So they'd been sold as a pair that could pull a wagon, as I recall. So one day at lunch, Chief wanted the horses hitched up. He wanted to see how they did behind a wagon. So somebody got down there and hitched them up, and we all went down after lunch, and they were standing there pacing and ready to go, and Chief jumps up in the seat, asks anybody who wants to go along to hop on with him. So this fellow we mentioned earlier, David Ovson, jumps in, foolishly, and
He's still alive.
he's still alive. He almost didn't make it that day. But in any event, he jumps in, and so Chief said, as he, I'll try and imitate him here, it'll be bad, but he says, "Let the horses go." So we dropped the, leash.
Someone was holding the
Yeah,
horses.
somebody was holding the horses.
Okay.
So Chief takes the reins and kind of slaps them on their back, and next thing I know, his head is horizontal, and I'm looking at the top of his bald spot, and they're tearing down the road down toward 25.
That would be US 25, a
US
highway.
25,
Mhm.
that's right, a major highway there. And so all the way down the road, he's wrapping rein and pulling back to no effect, I might add. And Charlie, I think you remember seeing David Ovson in the back.
David
of the wagon.
Olson had jumped in the back of the wagon with a couple of campers, I think, and I'll never forget seeing his head bouncing around from side to side in that wagon, and his eyes looked like saucers. And that's the first time I've seen him speechless.
That's true.
Which was an unusual condition
Yeah.
for David Olson. So anyway, they go tearing around the
We'll make sure
corner.
David hears this one.
Yeah, yeah, we'll send this one especially to David. But so they went tearing around the road, off the camp road, onto the road that hooks you up to US 25. And we thought, uh-oh, this is not going to end well. So we went tearing down the road after them on foot and got down near the highway, now near H's Gulf Station down there. And we looked up this looked like an abandoned driveway or something that was just about at a 45-degree angle. And there was Chief and Ovson still shaking. Not Chief, but Ovson still shaking. And the horses were just blowing out like they just, run 1,000 miles or something. So we got the horses unhitched, the wagon back to camp. And but before we left, I said, Chief, what were you going to do if they got out onto US 25? He turned to me and stared straight in the face and said, jump.
So what was he going to do with David Ovson and the two kids in the back?
I don't know, and I've never told David that he said that. But
Okay.
They were on their own.
They're on their own, that's right. Every man for himself.
it was an
one of the
experience
funniest
you'll
things I've
never
ever
forget.
seen.
Experience you'll never forget.
There were a lot of those kind of experiences there.
Yes, they were.
So Gary's told the story about our hikes. We won't go into that, but that was my first experience with backpacking was being lost.
Yeah.
Gary, but
Oh, is that when you were looking for that cabin?
Mm-hmm.
Beach Point.
and
Beach
we
Point.
found it. We can link to it. We did a
I remember your
podcast.
podcast on it.
Yeah, that was
You
a
hiked
fun
to it.
podcast.
Yeah, 45, 46 years later.
That's right.
We found it.
We did. That's
But
probably,
And there's a lesson in that, folks.
yeah. Lesson is these days there's signs everywhere. Remember we saw
Yeah.
those signs? We were there, no signs.
Well, we also had a kid said, I think I know where it is.
Right. Always a mistake.
Yeah.
Yeah, always a mistake.
Always a mistake.
But one of the funniest things I remember, Mark, and maybe you want to speak to this, was
Probably not.
the year, well, I hope you do. The year that you had the real estate campaign to sell off Rabbit Island. I've never laughed so hard in my life with their tongue-in-cheek humor. And the juniors were eating it up. They really thought they
Oh,
could
yeah.
get their mom
Wait a
and dad
minute.
to buy
Wait a
them a
minute.
lot.
But we have a resort there now. Some people are still
Well, that's
eating
true.
it up.
That's true. And the international airport, too.
Yeah.
Well, it's well known, Rabbit Island.
Yeah.
One of our sponsors to this day.
Just a hair better.
Hair better.
Yeah.
We actually, maybe we got a sticker for Charlie. Maybe both of you from Rabbit Island. I'll have to take a look.
Yes, I've got to get it on my vehicle as
Yeah.
fast as I can.
There you go.
I'm tired of being turned away.
Well, that's the whole point. You put that on your car and they give you respect.
Yes,
Yep.
respect is what I want.
Yeah.
Not just a resort, but a way of life.
Yes,
Rabbit
it is.
Island.
And the whole point of it is a timeshare where you don't have to spend any time.
No, that's
Just
right.
own the sticker.
Mm-hmm.
Pay the money. If I'm not mistaken, Joe actually gave us the money. He did.
He did.
I
Yeah,
made a
one of those
small
few people.
contribution to
Well, hey,
the
helps.
well-being of this operation.
Anybody else wants to give us a small contribution, you can do it online at www.garyandmark.com.
Small bills.
Small bills, unmarked.
Yeah.
Untraceable.
That's right.
Less than $600.
That's true. Don't make it over $6.
Yeah, right.
$5.99, we'll take
That'll
it.
work it.
Yeah, we got a lawyer. Is that legal? No 1099s are needed under 600, right?
Heck, I don't know.
Yeah, well, we're just like, all right, then
I'm not a
send us
donation.
two
Ask a tax
$400.
lawyer.
Yeah,
If you want to know something about estates, I can tell you that. But
well, we don't have an estate. I can say that much.
so
I've lived in several states.
I remember, Gary, you were often referred to by Chief as someone who gave us a lot of lift.
Well,
Needed these days, yes.
well, we won't go. My lift, yeah, my lift done left, but
so I think he's talking about your humor or something like
Yes.
that. Yes, okay. Hopefully. Okay.
yeah.
So get that clear.
Well, it was a great place to try and be somebody different. You
Yeah.
know, Murphy Sweeney, and then make stuff up and see if the kids would go along.
Yeah.
It was fun.
It was. Those were good days.
Yeah, it was.
And some of those kids probably have, well, they have kids going now. Some of them may be old enough to have grandkids.
grandkids.
Oh, I'm sure they
grandkids.
do.
yeah.
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 Wow. Gosh.
Yeah.
Because that's 50 years ago and they were 10. It'd be 60. So, yeah, absolutely. Third generation.
Yeah, I remember feeling old 30 years ago when I think one of the Gardellas, remember the Gardella
Yeah,
twins?
boy.
I remember the Gardellas, yes.
One of the Gardellas dropping off their kid at camp. I'm like, what? You know, but yeah.
Surprised they can't. I had one of them in my cabin one year. And
Identical twins.
Yes.
That's right.
so I'm trying to, Charlie, and what was the other one?
Frazier.
Frazier. Yeah, Charlie and Frazier.
Yeah, I remember mentioning to them something about a light bulb in a cabin over at Green Cove, and that they'd never be able to get that. You know, I wasn't challenging them seriously.
And how old were they at the time?
I'm going to guess 13.
Oh,
maybe.
okay.
So, so about 2 nights later, one of them, and I knew the counselor who had the cabin. I said, "You'll never get it, but it is marked, you know, with Sharpie pen. And 2 nights later, one of them says, "Hey, is this the light bulb?"
Oh my gosh!
And it was.
So how did he sneak over there?
I don't know. I do not know. I didn't ask. I didn't want to know.
No, don't ask, don't tell.
That's right.
That's right.
So do you remember the cabin? Some of the cabin names you stayed in, Charlie? Did you ever have campers?
God, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Bastille.
Oh, I remember that.
That was my first cabin. It's gone now.
Mine too.
Yeah.
Huh.
I love Bastille because it didn't have a bathroom, so I didn't have to worry
That's
about
right.
cleaning it up.
No.
Oh, yeah. Where'd you go? Over to the bullpen?
Oh, yeah. Bullpen
Depends
up
on
the
the
hill.
deuce or the single.
Right,
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Then,
To
gosh,
rebuild
I
the
had one of the
Bastille.
lakefront cabins. I can't remember which one it was. It was a single on lakefront. There were 2 doubles, I think, and then a single on the end.
Hornet's Nest, was that?
Yeah,
one?
Hornet's
Yeah, I
Nest,
had
yeah.
that one in 8 week my first
Yeah,
year.
I had Hornet's Nest. I had,
But
I
off
think
the porch, it started smelling like a pee.
Yeah,
After
it doesn't take long.
it did everywhere. Every cabin I stayed in, so it was like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
I had Rose Room, Hemlock Hall, Log North,
Yeah.
Chiefs North.
I forgot about
What
that.
else? I'm trying to think of other ones I had. Obviously, I had 12 of them because I was there both sessions for 6 years. But Charlie, you remember the horses' names?
Not twice? You probably
Try
remember.
Me, Red Oak,
Tantivy.
Oakmere was the stallion.
Yeah, he was gone when I got there.
He's a good horse.
Simi,
Semi's,
Jinx, and
yeah, Jinx. God, there's just
Jack.
a ton of them.
Zebra.
Zebra.
I don't remember
Remember that?
Zebra.
Yeah.
Zebra was an old horse.
No, Pinto.
Was it Pinto?
Yeah,
I don't
black,
remember.
Black and
Zebra.
white, maybe a little brown on it. But anyway, they were the ones that really taught the kids how to ride.
Yeah,
We were just there.
yeah, for sure.
A lot of good memories.
So wonder what's changed. I mean, they didn't have biking when we were there, of course. They have biking.
Right.
But probably not much has changed.
The clay tennis court that was only playable about 3.5 hours one summer, but when it was great. By what was it, Senate and Congress? That that is great. They turned it into a dirt volleyball, which is pretty good.
That's real good.
Do they have a Gaga pit over there these days?
Say what?
Gaga pit, wooden, about 3 feet tall, circular thing with sand in it, and they bounce balls back at each other out in the house.
Not that I know of.
No.
Really? You heard of it, Have you heard of it?
I know they got a zip line,
Oh, yeah.
which we didn't.
Yeah.
And they lowered, actually, where the tennis courts were up top. They dropped the whole. Andrew, it seems, if I haul off enough dirt, I can make this footprint bigger, so that the actual 2 upper courts, which are kind of close to regulation size now. When
I've
we
seen
were
them, yeah.
there,
There's no room.
there was no room, and they were cement, and it would flake up.
And
And,
at night, at 3 a.m. in the morning, you and Ray would go pour water on them with a hose so you get out of playing teaching tennis.
I never did that.
That's what I heard.
Yeah, talk to my attorney.
Oh, it rained
talk to my
again.
attorney.
It rained again. No tennis lessons.
You wouldn't do anything like that.
No,
But
I
Ray
think
would.
I think they have a basketball court or a half court up where that third tennis court. One time it was the Lego court. They had those
Yeah, I
little
remember
plastic.
those bats.
Oh, I never saw it when he had
And
those.
that was who hooked him up with that? Chad Foster, who'd been one of my tennis kids. He later had quite a career, I think, building, was it playgrounds or something at McDonald's? Somehow he ended up in the tall cotton and retired, and I think he hooked him up with that Lego court.
I think courts are trying. Harmon Field have that as a service to this day. They just put them in not too long ago. Could be wrong. But I know they were selling that stuff for bathhouses, too.
And someone, I don't know if Bill Felder, I don't know if you all, I don't really, he was a camper a year or two. I was there. He has become the cap wingerter. He's been there, I don't know how many years.
Really?
He's fixed up a lot of the sailboats. He's Captain Billy. And he was married to a Chenoweth. Remember, there were a bunch of Chenoweths that came.
Right.
And I think a lot of the stuff done to the sailboats, Bill just does that just because he loves to do it. He's retired.
I'll tell you a little story about Cap Winger. My understanding is he was in the cavalry, horse cavalry.
No, that was Harry.
Who?
Harry,
Harry
who
who?
was at camp. The guy named Harry Cap was a machine gun captain.
Well, okay,
Okay.
but he had some connection with horses because it surprised me one summer. He came down to the barn. I thought, what in the world is this?
Oh.
What's happening here? And he came down to inspect the barn, which he was good at inspecting things. Good sailor, too. And so he walked into our tack room, and he inspected the bits, and he found one that had a little dried saliva on it.
Oh, my goodness.
And he brought that out and said, holds it up in my face, says, how would you like to put this in your mouth? I said, we'll clean it up, Captain. Good deal. Turned around and walked back to the sailing docks.
If you were to Google right now, Ernest L. Wingeter, Quincy, Illinois, Captain Ernest L. Wingeter, you can find, I forget if it's the 125th Machine Gun Battalion, all these little thumbnails of the officers. And there you can pick him out because of those cheekbones.
Right.
Yeah. Maybe, yes, I do remember. What I remember him saying was how mules didn't freak out under artillery fire the way horses did.
Yeah.
But remember the guy Harry?
Harry Whittaker.
Harry Whittaker.
Harry Whittaker.
Harry
Who
the
later,
horse.
he stayed on in Hendersonville forever. And whenever they'd have a veterans march, Harry would come, he would have on the whole cavalry outfit, and it would really kind of tick off some of the other veterans. They thought he was being a little bit of a peacock or something.
No.
He'd have his sword and yeah, Harry
never knew
Whittaker,
that.
and he'd also been a boxer. Remember?
Well, he was just there 1 year, I think, 69 or something.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah, I missed Harry.
okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So, guys, this has been great. I think my video over there has stopped working.
All right,
Because I can't see the light, but it sounds bad. I keep pushing the button. It's not going on.
okay.
But we're still recording here.
Oh, okay.
And so the video will end at some point.
Well,
Our
we're not
fans will
getting
have to
any
just
better
listen. Yeah.
looking. You can put up pictures of horses and
We can. So people on the YouTube version will just have to. We'll put these pictures up. You're going to send us. We took today. So, but I think we've been going about 42 minutes. That's pretty long.
That's a long time for us.
That's what it is. Yeah. For Gary, it's usually nap time.
I was going to say,
About
ooh,
30 minutes.
I've missed that.
All right. So before
We haven't touched
we're
this
not leaving. We're going to stay maybe and have another one. You never know. But
Oh.
we got to thank our sponsors real quick.
All right.
So we already said Saluda Outfitters, home of Green River Eddie's Tap Room.
We have, and how about the
LJ.
Big Whiz Pocket Buddy?
Absolutely. Rabbit Island Resort. LJ Myers is professional white dove releases.
Iron Key.
You bet. And we got another brewing company that by the time folks hear this will have been introduced to, and that is Athletic Brewing Company.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
the alcohol-free beer.
Yep.
Yeah, who?
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty good.
That's what I'm looking for.
Charlie'd vote for that.
Here's who's drinking Bud Light. I mean,
Well, let me tell you,
Miller Light. Or
I will.
whatever.
We had some of these. It's like better than O'Doul's. Okay, if that.
That doesn't take much.
I have
It's
a
like
quick
Carlin
story.
Black Label.
Yeah, Mabel Black Label, Carling Black Label beer. That's Baltimore.
It's
I have a
really.
quick story
Carling.
to tell on Charlie. When we were out in Colorado, Kansas was not the most wonderful state to cross, although I liked it all right. But I asked Charlie, I said, you got to cross Kansas? He said, yeah, man. So
What do you do, Charlie?
that's really a six-pack state. I said, what do you mean it's a six-pack state? Well, you pick up a six-pack on the east side, and you drop it off the empties on the west side.
That's a good plan.
I've often told people that story, Charlie, without attribution. by the way.
Thanks.
All right. Well, it's been a good episode, Gary.
It sure, and it's great to get with these guys. Again, we have all four of us haven't been together in
Well,
close to 50 years.
Absolutely. Yeah. I didn't realize these two hadn't seen each other
Amazing
that
thing.
long either. Yeah.
So we're going to do this again in 50 years.
We did that before 50 years.
Yeah, hold your breath.
Yeah.
Sign me up.
All right. Well, Joe and Charlie, thanks for being with us.
Yes, indeed.
I'm Mark,
A treat. I'm Gary.
and this is. Whoop! I didn't mean to hit that toilet.
Well, we're headed there.
You did a good job. That's,
We
Well, that's a good job. All right. We'll see you soon.
All right.
Thanks for listening. Bye bye.